Tesla's massive holiday update is finally here and is packed with tons of amazing features. You've got new games, utilities, more music options, plus so much more. But beyond the features you probably know about, Tesla also added in dozens and dozens of smaller hidden features, little changes here, that are going to totally change the way you use your car, and some that you absolutely need to know about right now. In fact, Tesla actually just admitted they've been wrong all along. So in this video, I'm breaking down the top 10 or so hidden features that you probably missed in Tesla's massive holiday update. Tesla secretly launched some new accessories. They've got some secret features that are only available on some cars. A new retrofit option is coming. Watch closely. I've got some secrets you need to know. And a big thanks to Enhance Auto for sponsoring this video. So in case you missed it, yes, Tesla's biggest update of the year has finally been released. It is rolling out to cars now, and this has got to be the biggest update of 2022. It's bringing Apple Music support, MyQ garage door opening and closing control, new games, we've got Steam, auto lane change, plus so much more. And the first big question we probably need to answer here, one that I'm sure many of you guys are asking down below in the comments, is how do I get this update? This update has been around for about a week-ish at this point, and you guys are probably wondering, if I don't have it now, how do I get it on my Tesla right now? Well, I've got good news and bad news here. The good news is that your car will get it. You are going to get the holiday update. It's just sort of a waiting game. And that's sort of the bad news is you really don't have any control. There is no way to force yourself to get this holiday update. From my understanding, Tesla recently made a change where the car will not check for an update unless it's been a 24-hour window that has passed. So the car is only checking once a day. Something else you need to know about this holiday update is that every single feature announced actually isn't on every car. For example, the ability to play Steam games right inside of your Tesla is awesome, but it only exists on newer Model S's and X's built in 2022 or later, presumably due to the processing power needed to run these games with those really cool graphics that are PS5 level. You can even use a controller if you want to, of course, or even a keyboard and mouse as well. So if you want a full PC experience of sort of playing games in your car, you can do it, and you're going to be able to use the built-in screen and the immersive audio to have a really awesome PC gaming experience right inside of your car, but only on a very new S or X. This Steam support is not rumored to be coming to the 3 and Y in any capacity, though Elon did say if you've got an older Model S or Model X, you will be able to get a hardware retrofit option to play these games inside of your car. There has been no further information on what that retrofit is going to be, how much it's going to cost, or when you could do it, but if you do have an S or an X and you want to play these games, according to Elon, a retrofit option is coming. I also should mention that along with the introduction of Steam, Tesla has released a 1TB SSD drive for your car that you can get to sort of store games and Sentry mode events for a whopping $350 price tag. For reference, a comparable consumer-grade 1TB SSD on Amazon is less than $100 as of recording this video. All right, next, let's talk Apple Music. Now, Apple Music, I'm not going to bore you. It would work as you'd expect. You basically log in with the QR code, and you can sort of browse through what you've listened to recently, top picks, albums, stuff like that. The one interesting change, though, that you do need to know is that Tesla has changed the way, for better or worse, they're handling the media information. So there used to be a little bar that would appear in this area on the screen that would show you sort of what you're playing, duration, you'd have control, stuff like that. And now what Tesla has done is they've moved it over here with some cards, which I'll show you in a second. So basically what you've got right there is the media controls, same thing you'd have over there. So if you minimize that, that's just going to bring the map full screen. And then you can see, hey, I'm listening to the Home Alone soundtrack. I'd have my controls there. I can sort of skip, I can play pause, and if I bring this up, if I pull up like this, I've got some more information here. So I've got the shuffle, I've got the loop, I've got the different media controls, search, all that stuff, and some other stuff down in that area there. And also what Tesla has done here is they've brought back the information cards. This was a staple of version 10. Tesla removed it with this version 11 sort of interface upgrade if you could call it that. But now it's back, and essentially what this does is you can swipe here left to right and get different information. So I've got some driving information here. I've got information on my tire pressure. As of right now, only 3 cards. There used to be more, like wiper controls and stuff like that used to show up here. But we're making steps in the right direction. It's progress, and you now have these little information cards here. Okay, now before we continue with more on the Tesla holiday update and all the cool secrets it brought with it, I want to take a quick break and tell you guys about another way to really unlock some awesome hidden features in your Tesla, and that is with the help of this. It is a collection of super awesome programmable buttons that allow you to take your Tesla to a whole new level, and it is made by this video's sponsor, and that's Enhance Auto. Now, if you have not seen these sexy buttons before, affectionately named after the Model S, 3, X, and Y, let me introduce you to the most unique and functional Tesla accessory that I have ever seen. These give you a tactile physical button that you can use to control different parts of your car and customize with so many different commands to do basically anything on the inside and outside of your Tesla. They've got built-in adhesive on the back, so you can easily stick them and move them all around the car. And the install here is simple. Basically, you're gonna remove a panel in the back of your car really easily. You install a splitter and then connect the sexy button commander module to basically give your buttons low-level access to the car to allow it to sort of do a lot of different commands just with the press of a button. And these buttons are basically fully customizable, and there are so many incredible things they can do. From the basics, like starting and stopping music, controlling volume with the press of a button, adjusting climate control, to more advanced things like being able to use to engage or disengage autopilot, adjusting regen braking. One of the other awesome parts of the sexy button system is not only can you sort of press a button to do different actions, but you can also set up the car to do different things thanks to this low-level customization this system gives you. For example, you can even configure the door handles to do different things by either pressing on them or pulling them. For example, if I open this back door handle and pull on that handle for 2 seconds, I have it set up to automatically open up the charge port. So if I hold on this for 2 seconds, just like that, it's gonna open that up just like that. And one important point I wanna make here is that these buttons were developed by a team of Tesla enthusiasts for Tesla enthusiasts. The Enhanced Auto team is incredibly active in the Tesla community, and they are constantly adding new features and making meaningful improvements. And making things even better is that Enhanced Auto has a big holiday update of their own coming soon that's gonna add even more features for these buttons. Things like adjusting the stop mode, activating a little short honk to get the attention of a pedestrian outside, even a new beta feature that will mimic the Model X and present your doors to you automatically, popping them open when you come over to get into the car. And I cannot overstate this enough. I've tested many different Tesla accessories, and this is by far the most ingenious, most customizable, and most powerful accessory that I've ever used. It has supercharged my Tesla experience. I really love it, and I know you guys will love it as well. So if you want to take full control over your Tesla today, get a whole new level of control and customization, and really do so many amazing things with just the press of a button, you definitely want to check out these sexy buttons. Learn more and check them out for yourself today at the link down below, and pick one up for yourself today, or a pack of them today, and really supercharge your Tesla experience right now by checking out these sexy buttons at the link right down below in the description. Another UI change Tesla has made is that, I guess you can even get rid of that too if you don't want it, is that you have the ability to have a larger font by default. So now, for example, if I'm gonna go to an address, like let's just go in here and go to Crazy Rockin' Sushi, for example, I now have this different interface for navigation. So as you can see, this is way larger than it was before. This is different than it was before, and the whole interface is a bit different and feels snappier than it did before. This is a Ryzen-based car, by the way. Might be a difference in the processor, but this just feels quicker in navigation. Everything feels quicker here on this holiday update. As you can see here, you've got a new UI that clearly shows you your arrival time. It shows you how long you're gonna go. It's gonna show you your battery state when you get there, and then nice big directions like this. So really like this. This is new and is much easier to read, and I think a lot of you guys will like on here as well as a new part of the holiday update. Little undocumented change that Tesla did not mention that is there. And continuing the theme of some features only coming to some cars, it's also going to apply on the Model 3 and Model Y as well, with the split between AMD Ryzen processors and Intel processors, specifically with the Zoom app. When the holiday update rolled out, no one was really talking about Zoom. That was one of the big new features that was going to come to your car, and it was later discovered that it's there, but only on AMD Ryzen-based cars. You might remember back in 2022, early 2022, I guess, well, late 2021, early 2022, Tesla made the switch from Intel Atom processors over to Ryzen-based processors in the Model 3 and Model Y, and for whatever reason, if it's a speed or performance thing, you could only get Zoom in your Tesla if you've got a AMD Ryzen processor. It is not going to work on Intel-based cars. All right, next up, let me give you a quick demo of the Zoom app. I've seen a lot of questions on this. How does it work? Does it work only while parked? Do you have to have an LTE connection? Can you go on Wi-Fi? How does this work? So I'm going to launch the Zoom app here, and it's going to give me a choice. I can either sign into a Zoom account or I can join a meeting. So I'm going to click join a meeting, I guess tap join a meeting, and then I'm going to put in a meeting ID. So let me do that and I will be right back. All right, so I have now entered in the meeting passcode, and here's what the car is going to show. The one thing it is going to show me is this dialog box that talks about distracted driving, and to not let yourself be distracted, and delegating if you need to. It's also going to ask me for my name. It's going to pull this name from the profile, so I'm in the easy entry profile right now. That's why it's pulling easy entry as the name, but I can change that, and I can also have it remember who I am. And then what we've all been waiting for is, let's see what this video looks like. Whoa, and there we go. That is not the most flattering angle at all. That's because the camera it's using is that right there. That's the camera. It's not even the quality that's bad. It's the angle is just terrible. And maybe the headliner in this Model 3 is like really low, but as you can see, I'm getting like a really good chunk of my frame cut off by that headliner. But not the worst thing I've ever seen. If you want to see the audio, I'll try that in a minute. So I'm gonna hit join, and I've got a pseudo meeting running on my laptop right there. And there we are. Hey, hi, there we go. So that's running there. We're now connected to the Zoom call, and I can see my other participants here. I don't see a way to, I guess I cannot do full screen. So this is as full screen as it gets. And then I've got my controls over here. So I can stop my video, I can unmute myself. I see the participants, which lets me, I guess I can control them if I'm like hosting the meeting, and then I can end the call. Let's do a test for audio quality. There's gonna be a little audio delay here, but let's just hear it. Test 1, 2, 3. Let me unmute this. Here we go. Test, test, test. There's gonna be a little echo there, but it sounds pretty good. Let's see. Test, test. Let me turn this on a little bit more. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test. So the audio sounds really good, surprisingly well. The microphones in this car are pretty good. It's the camera that is not the best. So that is what the Zoom experience looks like. And this is running over LTE in the car, by the way, over premium connectivity. Looks pretty good. Frame rate's good. Looks like, you know, whatever, decent. Got a little weird magenta thing going on there, but whatever. It's an odd camera, not really meant for this, but here we are. And then the other thing is about park and drive. Will it still work in park or drive? So I'm going to go into my profile here and go ahead and just hit the brake and go into reverse. And I'm going to see cameras, and then they're just going to see my name and no video. So the video cuts out completely for anybody on the call. If I switch into drive, it's going to be the same thing. Now, I'm still on the Zoom call. I mean, I still have stuff there, and I still have the controls here, but I can't see anything. And if I try to tap on this, it just says video unavailable. I can't do anything. If I tap on that, it actually will say video only while in park. So I'm going to go back into park, and that is going to restart my video here. And also, it will not, I guess it doesn't auto start video. Maybe, maybe not. No? So I guess I got to go back and start my video. So there we go. So that's a little demo of Zoom, how that works on the car. Again, that's it. I can end it like that, and that's it. So quick demo of Zoom on your Tesla, but again, only with the Ryzen processor installed. Another change that I've noticed here is the little media player that I just shut off. So remember I showed you that card that was right there and then it went away when I swiped down. There's now a new icon in the little dock down here of icons that is for that media player specifically. So if I was to hit play right now, it would continue playing the media with no sort of info at all. But if I tap on this, it's going to bring that back. So basically, the way to get these cards back, if you lose them, is to tap that icon there. If not, if you swipe down, you'll see that comes back. So a little change there. You can play the music without anything right there, but if you do want to have them back, you want to tap on that, and that is going to bring it back. Another change is also with the fans, that now when you turn on the air system and you want to control the fans, you're no longer stuck with basically the slider. You now have arrows here that you can sort of go up different intervals. That was one of the biggest problems before, was there was a slider, but now you don't have to do this. You can rely on good old trusty arrows to make that change. So here's the process of setting up my queue here. So I'm going to jump into the settings here. It's going to be under controls on the main page. I thought there'd be a button, it'd be more obvious, but it's right up there, that little garage icon. Tap on that. Then I'm gonna hit link my Q account. Then I'm gonna get a QR code that I can scan, and then I'll show you what comes next. So basically, you'll go to a special part of the MyQ website, you'll log into your account, you're going to be basically given a free 30-day trial, plus you'll get some pricing info. Then once that's done, and you sort of authorize everything, you're given this. So now I've got my garage door here. I can set the garage door location, so it's sort of location aware. So as I leave and come back, it'll open and close automatically. Once I set that, I can turn on sort of the distance, so how far or close I want to be to the garage for it to activate. I can also have the adjustments here for auto close when leaving, auto folding mirrors, and then just a button to open and close the garage. All right, so now let me give you a little demo of actually how this works. So I'm going to jump into my garage settings here. And as we can see, I can see that my garage door is closed. I can obviously control it from here, but I'm not going to do that right now. And if I jump into my settings, I have the ability to obviously open the garage, and then I have a couple of other things. So I've set it up so it knows my location of where the house and the garage is. And then I have it also set up to automatically open when I arrive when I'm within 30 feet of the garage. It's going to know by my location and automatically open it up. It's going to automatically close when I leave the house. I could have it fold the mirrors in, but I'm not going to do that. And then I also want a little confirmation chime. I want to know when the system actually does something and when I hit that that distance threshold so I could hear it. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my garage and show you what it looks like with this MyQ functionality, with the car doing it all automatically. All right, so I am now arriving home, and let me show you what this looks like. I'm going to get right here. I hear the chime, and oh my goodness, there it goes. It is opened up just like that. And let me show you what happens when I get inside. And then once I'm in the garage, it basically sort of leaves this prompt open here. So I can just sort of hit this. It's going to send the command and close the door. So I'm going to hit that. And then it's going to send the command. It's going to close the garage door. So that's how it's going to work. Same way to exit as well. When I'm ready to exit and get in drive and actually go do whatever I'm going to do, I'm just going to hit that prompt, and that's going to send the control to do it. And I should also mention, for those curious, I don't have a MyQ garage door opener, but I mentioned in another video, I have like their like kind of kit that basically seems like it's like a repeater. It like repeats the signal. So there's the little hub there. There's a sensor on the garage door there. And then it sort of sends the command to open and close. So this is like 20 bucks on Amazon. I'll leave a link down below. Basically, we'll convert your dumb garage opener and make it smart, and we'll make it work with the system. So there you go. Now, unfortunately, as cool as this MyQ piece of the puzzle is and the abilities it gives your car, it is going to require a yearly subscription. MyQ announced some new pricing for that, and here's how it looks. It's $45 for 1 year, $180 for 5 years, or $300 for 10 years if you plan on keeping this for 10 years. And then two other little tidbits here worth noting about is that if you've got a Model S or Model X, you can now control the rear screen from the front in the main screen, which is sort of cool. So maybe you've got kids in the back or passengers who don't know how to use that screen, or they don't want to do that awkward sort of reach forward and sort of reach on the screen and control that way. You can now have full control over it through the main screen, which is really cool. So that's awesome to see. Maybe sort of give us a preview of what we could see if there was a second screen in the refreshed Model 3, rumored to be coming soon. And then also no Dolby Atmos support. This was sort of a last minute rumor that was going to happen with the holiday update, but that has not been released just yet. Obviously, this seems like a software thing, so Tesla could do this at any time, but just to let you know, no Dolby Atmos support was released with this holiday update, so maybe that'll come sometime next year. All right, guys, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on Tesla's holiday update? Have you gotten it on your car? Have you gotten it installed? What's your favorite thing about it? What's your least favorite thing about it? And did you notice other secrets that I missed? I tried to comb through everything. I tried to find the best stuff. But if you guys found something better, or you found something also worth sharing, let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on this holiday update. As always, I appreciate you guys watching these videos. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I am Robert Rosenfeld, and I'll see you all in the next one.